Well, it's kind of interesting because I'm not sure I believe anything that I see on television any longer. I'm just not sure that it's actually factual. And I travel around the world, and whatever place or country or city that I'm in, there's a general sense of goodness with people. I think people are wired to care for one another, to take care of one another, to inform one another, to support one another, to heal one another, to give to one another. I think we're wired that way. And I think that if you want to diminish that kind of virtuistic behavior, you create the stress hormones, and you create fear, you create hostility, you create anger, you create pain, you create suffering. And it's those emotions that begin to create separation. Now I don't trust you any longer, because in survival, you have to take care of yourself. And survival becomes a very selfish set of chemicals that cause to endorse our ego. So I think that in this current time, we have to be able to rise above those emotional states. And when you do, you're no longer controlled. I think the best way to control people is to control their emotions. And when you can control their emotions, of course, you're going to keep their attention moving from one thing to the next. And while everybody's looking at all of this drama, something else is going on over here. And I'm more interested in looking at that. And so I don't really look at journalism the same way. I don't look at the media the same way, because I don't necessarily believe that I'm getting the whole story. So people are angry about that. And I think the anger is good when it's seen as an energy of disturbance, but that should motivate us to act or to do something about it. And it's that whole analogy of the frog in the boiling water. You get desensitized, you get more desensitized, you get more desensitized, and at what point do you start burning? At what point do you start realizing it's getting a little too hot? I just think we have to get to that point now. So by creating something for people to utilize, that you're not relying on so many things outside of you to bring you joy, or this kind of subconscious program of being a victim. You say, Brian, why are you so upset today? Well, I'm upset because of this person or this thing. What that really means is that some person or some condition in your environment is controlling the way you're feeling and the way you're thinking. Well, if something is outside of you is controlling the way you feel and the way you think, you're a victim to your environment. And so then there is this dramatic polarity that goes on. When things are going well, you're happy. When things aren't going well, you're sad. But when you learn how to self-regulate and create more coherence in your brain and heart, and that's what our message is, then you're no longer dependent on your outer world controlling your mood. In fact, you begin to realize how you think and feel begins to produce effects in your outer life. Now you start believing more you're the creator of your life and less of the victim of your life. Now that isn't something that you take one bite of and swallow and it's all over. It's a process of repatterning. It's a process of rewiring. It's a process of reconditioning. It's a process of self-reflection and awareness and changing those beliefs. And that's the work. And yet people are doing it. So when you begin to realize then, well, I can't respond to the same conditions in my life with the same emotions and the same thoughts, because if I believe that the way I feel and the way I think creates reality, if I'm reacting to the same thoughts and feelings equal to the conditions in my life in the same way, then I keep reaffirming the same life. So then a person has to retreat from their life, retreat from their environment, disconnect from their outer world, and begin to lay down patterns neurologically in their brain, so that their brain is no longer a record of the past. They're priming their brain and beginning to lay down the circuitry for them to think in different ways, to begin to close their eyes and rehearse who they're going to be in that day. And the act of mentally rehearsing begins to install the neurological hardware in their brain. So their brain looks like the experience is already happening or has already happened. Now the brain's no longer a record of the past. Now we're creating a map to the future. So then the action of rehearsal and installing the neurological hardware by firing and wiring the same circuitry, the hardware becomes a software program, which means you're going to start automatically acting like a different person. You're going to start automatically thinking in new ways. And then to trade guilt or anxiety or aggression or hatred or anger, to say those are emotions of the past, and as long as I live by these emotions, those emotions are influencing my thoughts. If emotions are a record of the past, then I'm thinking in the past, so my past is going to be my future. So if I want to be wealthy, I can't bring lack. If I want to be happy, I can't bring pain. Well, so then let's get beyond the emotion. So by trading those limited survival emotions and teaching people how to elevate their emotional state and really measure to tell them you're doing it or you're not doing it. When you teach your body emotionally what that future is going to feel like, and you say, I'm not going to get up until I feel this feeling and I'm locked into that feeling. Well, the side effect of that is, let's just say that you can contact the emotions of your future, and you teach your body what it feels like emotionally. The joy, the gratitude, the appreciation, the love for life, the joy for existence, the inspiration. And most people do that in the beginning. They feel kind of funny, like, why am I doing this? Because they've been hypnotized and conditioned to need a reason to feel that. Right. Something outside of them has got to change how they feel inside of them. So they spend their whole life in lack and emptiness waiting for it to happen, but living in lack isn't going to create it. But if you start understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it, and the stronger the emotion you feel, the more you're going to pay attention to the picture in your mind. You begin to remember your future. You are branding that circuitry in your brain, and now you're emotionally conditioning your body into the future. Now here's the side effect of that. If you can do that properly and become familiar with those states of mind and body, and you get up feeling like your future has already happened, I guarantee you're going to stop looking for it. I guarantee you're going to stop analyzing why it hasn't happened. You're going to feel like it has already happened. Now, the work is to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day. You got to be able to sustain that state independent of your coworkers, independent of your boss, independent of your ex, independent of your finances, independent of the traffic. And if you're able to do that, you will begin to see the feedback in your life. In a sense, when energy makes it to the heart, it begins to broaden the field around the body. An energy that's literally measurable, a magnetic field. And that energy is a frequency. And that frequency can carry the thought of your health, of your wealth, of your freedom, of your new relationship, of your new job. The frequency or the emotion of suffering can't carry the thought of health. It can't carry the thought of your new future. So then when there's a vibrational match between the energy, because we're always emitting energy and information, when there's a vibrational match between your energy and some possibility that exists in the quantum field, something magical happens, because once energy makes it to your heart, you're creating from the field instead of from matter. Now this weird thing starts to happen and things start coming to you. Now you don't have to rush anywhere to get it. You're not creating a matter to matter from three-dimensional reality to three-dimensional reality. That takes time. You're creating from the field, and it's the field that creates matter. So all of a sudden you start seeing things coming to you. When you see that, and you start to see that they're coming in unusual ways that surprise you, you're going to begin to wake up to the fact that you're probably more the creator of your life and less of the victim of your life.